Hello and welcome back to the Flower Gold Wizard channel. I'm Jason, a part-time gold prospector based in Wisconsin, and I'm at a spot where we're going to find some great gold today. So hit that subscribe button. Back in a bit. Now, when we were here last, I was here with my buddy Ryan. And I started up the creek up that way a little ways, and I wasn't doing so hot. And this turned out to be the real hot spot in this inside edge right here. And we started working it back towards where it straightens out here just a little bit. Here's quite a bit of tailings piles right here, and we're kind of throwing them off onto the outside bend over there. And I worked all that quite a bit, so we're not piling onto on fresh ground, if you will. So up against this bank here, we're really getting some absolutely great gold up and out of here. Now Ryan had to leave a little bit early that day, and I skipped out of here a little bit early, but no big deal. I had my sluice set up in here right there, as a matter of fact, and we just didn't quite have enough water to get that baby running, and it doesn't appear we're gonna have any water to get it running again today. So we're just gonna do a little bit of speed panning, and that's no big deal. And I'll tell you why, because I got help. Mrs. Wizard's here today. Say hi, Mrs. Wizard.
Hi.
We got Moose and we got Rigby, the gold sniffing hound. He spotted this spot right off the get-go, didn't ya? All right, so the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pick up where we left off. I'm gonna start scraping a little bit deeper on this area right here we got cleaned out. Then I'm gonna make the big push up, because this whole thing right here, this whole area is a big inside bend deposit. So there, we're definitely not gonna run out of material to work. So I got my, what do I bring today here? I got a couple of pans here, brought my hooker right here, Mercedes, and I brought a shovel. So with that, we're gonna start digging. Back in a bit. Now the first thing I'm gonna do is get rid of a lot of these rocks, leaves, roots, etc. That's where this baby comes in handy. I don't have to bend over to pick up most of them rocks, and it pulls them right out of that clay real nice. Look at that. It makes shoveling a lot easier if you don't have to work around all these rocks like that with your spade shovel or whatever you happen to be using at the time. I can just go ahead and pitch all that right there, and it breaks up that clay real nice. So let me get a bunch of this stuff ready for the spade shovel, and I'll do a couple of test pans, and we'll take a look at it. Back in a bit. All right, we've been working at this just a minute, maybe 2 minutes. So we've got a nice little area cleared out right here, and I just wanted to dig a little bit of a hole to see how much gravel that we left on top of the clay, because it just, around here the clay is so darn thick, you can't, it's just not feasible to get through it. I know a lot of you guys say go down past the clay. Well, you can't. It's 3 feet plus thick here, and it's not going to pay off for me. So I'm looking at this layer here, and it looks like we did pretty darn good. I mean, this stuff right here, there's a lot of clay in it, but there's also a lot of material mixed in with the clay. Now you get down to, say, a real gray blue looking layer, and there's not going to be anything in it. Now my hole filled up with water there a little bit, and there was some of that blue layer exposed, so we're not going to be able to see that. Here's a little bit right here, actually, right there. Let me pull that back. There's that blue layer right there, white blue. There's no material mixed in with that stuff at all, and all this material is bashing up against that clay layer on this bank, on this inside bend, and that's what's creating this deposit right here. So I'm gonna go back here where we started, and I'm gonna scrape just a little bit deeper on there, because I was still getting good sample pans in and amongst all that stuff there. And then we're gonna start moving rocks up there and working the new deposit. Back in a bit. And we'll just scrape that top inch or so, and there's quite a bit of clay mixed in with that stuff. But that's okay. You want to get down into that clay about an inch. Now you see, there's still quite a bit of good gravels mixed in on top of that clay. All right, That's where the gold was last time. That's where the gold's gonna be this time. So I'm just about down the clay. There's a couple of rocks in there and they are absolutely cemented in that clay. So I really don't feel the need to go down too much further than that. And we've just about got a full pan there. And we'll go pan it out. Back in a bit. All right, I've got a full pan of material here, leaves included. And I'm gonna go ahead and pan this stuff out here. And just to make sure that I wasn't seeing things last time. Now I've got quite a big, nice mix of clay in here and gravels. Here's some of that clay here. We just mash that stuff up. Then we'll get it in our hole. I've got a nice deep hole dug right here to do my test panning in. But up creek just a little bit. There's a pretty good sized puddle that I'm gonna go up there and do a little work in because it won't take long. And this one right here will be nothing but pea soup, stinky old pea soup. But I can draw a little bit of water out of here from my pail that I'm gonna do a little classifying in. So we'll go ahead and get some of these bigger rocks out of there. Now again, I'm not gonna bust up every single little chunk of clay like this stuff here. I don't have to worry about that. I mean, I think the majority of the gold that I'm after testing for is going to be readily visible in them gravels. You know, I just got to kind of work that pan around and make sure that clay is not coming down into that bottom edge there, because your gold gets stuck to it. Oh, it didn't take long. This water's already just nothing but chocolate milk. And there's some good materials in there. Nice little gravels, etc. So it's not like we're just working sand. And I do have the majority of the bigger rocks picked out already. We might have to move up to that puddle. I don't think I'll be able to see anything in this water. Tell you what, that's about as far down as I'm going to go because you won't be able to see nothing anyway. And we'll go up to the clean puddle and take a look at it. Back in a bit. All right, I've got my black pan here. Got all that dirty water. Here's a little bit of clean water, otherwise you'll never be able to see anything down there. And I'll go ahead and pan that out just a little bit. And hopefully there's a little bit of gold left in that little deposit that we were working last time. If not, we'll push up into the upstream side of it and we'll start a new one. Let's see, I am seeing gold already, and nice gold too. Oh yeah, there's still plenty of gold there. Come on in here, let's take a look at that. Look there, there's 3 nice pieces right there, 4. All right, let me put this up here. There, get in on there. There's some nice pieces of gold up in there. And there's some smaller stuff down in the pan here. So I think what we'll do is I'll keep scraping some of that gravel that we left from last time. Probably up into about right here. And then I'm going to start pulling more rocks. And I'll put them up on that bank over there where we worked beforehand, so I'm not burying great deposits. And then we'll start working this area up in here. It's just going to take a little bit of back-breaking effort. Luckily, I brought Mrs. Wizard. Back in a bit. All right, both of us are really working hard here. Well, one of us. Moose is even pitching in. Rigby's around here somewhere. There he is, he's up there keeping wolves off our back, Sasquatch, etc. Val's over here taking all them leaves and rocks, etc. out of there. And look at the nice gravel she's exposing for me. There is some really, really good gold in this stuff right here. And the best thing is, there's hardly any clay in it. It's sitting on top of that clay. You know, I'll be able to work, I don't know, 4 or 5, maybe up to 6 inches of really good gravels before I have to start scraping clay. That clay is a nightmare when you don't have good water. Look at this puddle here already. 1 pan and that's already destroyed. Good thing we got a nice puddle up there a little ways. It's a pretty big one too, around the corner. So we'll keep at it here. And then we'll pick it back up in a bit. Back in a bit. You're doing a great job, honey. Great job. All right, now I've got a sample pan right here out of this area that I just cleared off with the rake. And I took it from right there, all right? And I'll tell you why. After we got all the rocks and leaves scraped off of there, you could clearly see there were some gravels from all the way from here to here. But when you stick your shovel in the ground, the closer to the bank, the less gravels. Matter of fact, there's hardly any gravels in this stuff until you get about 2 foot off of the bank edge right here. Whereas down there, the bank edge is right there and it was gravels right up to it. You can kind of see that right here. Now, I don't know if it's because it's just a little bit straighter in the inside bend right here. You know, it's really sharp right there, and then right there a little bit, and then right here, it straightens out for about 25 feet. And then it has like a little steeper of a bank right here where it might be chewing out and settling right there. But one way or the other, we're going to find out where that deposit is. If it's in a line right here, maybe right here or up towards the bank, and I'm thinking it's a little further away from the bank just for the reasons we talked about. So let me get that pan in the water. We'll take a look at it. Back in a bit. That pan had no gold in it. None. That's a little odd. I mean, we're getting awesome gold right there. And I didn't get one piece out of this stuff right here. So I think what I'll do is I'm going to go this way just a little bit more, because the way it looks to me, if I stand back, this deposit is a little bit further this way than this way. You can kind of see it right there as it goes around that corner. Now I'll take a little walk up there and I'll show you. See what I'm talking about? Like right here on that inside bend. Now I get it. That in super high water, that's the inside bend. And I'm digging right in the inside bend and where super high water would be. But for whatever reason, I didn't get one piece in that pan. And it's a tough, tall order to not get a piece of gold in this spot right here. That's for sure. So I'm going to move out just a little bit towards that green pan, see if we can find another one. This wizard's over here collecting cool rocks. Look what she's got ready. There's pretty neat ones there. Guess who's got to carry them out of here? You. Back in a bit. P.S. That is not a Flower Gold Wizard shirt. Busted knuckles. Back in a bit. Mrs. Wizard just came up and said she thinks she found the new Chris Lilly Rock of the Week. And I got to tell you, it is a pretty handsome one. Look what's going on there. All kinds of weird stuff and different kinds of rocks all melded together and pock marks and whatnot. What do you think of that one?
You can't throw it.
We can't throw it? Sorry, Chris. Fine, I'll get it. All right, video update. The first time I did a sample pan out of this trench right here, I stopped right there. So this time I moved about 2 feet this way, right where the big helper is here. And I did get a little bit of gold in that one. What I got here, see if we can see that little piece right there. There's a couple of smaller ones scattered about in this black sand here. So we went from 0 gold to, I don't know, 2 or 3 little pieces right here. So now I'm going to move a little bit more of this stuff here, and we're just starting to creep up on that edge we just talked about. This one right here, right there, instead of up on the high bench there. And we'll see if the gold's any better right there. Back in a bit. Video update. 3001, I don't know. All right, I'm almost across the darn creek over here already. And I'm still not finding what I'm looking for. I don't know if this area maybe got worked before, but somewhere in there should have been some really nice pans of gold. But there's not. But I can still come down here and get decent gold out of every darn shovel in this stuff right here. So guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to come down here and get some concentrates. Back in a bit. All right, update 7003. Those guys are all up there horsing around. I'm down here grinding. And we're on it. I went back to that original spot when we got here, and this gold's still just as good as it was when we got here. Let me see if I can get the glare off of there. Look at that nice piece right there. Got all kinds of little dots mixed in this sand here. Look at that piece. All kinds of gold in there. So what we're going to do is I'm going to gather up some more concentrates. I just been taking this stuff here. I got to walk up there to get a little bit of clean water to see the gold. Everything down here is disgusting. So I just been panning it down to about this much right here and dumping it in this pail. And we'll get that stuff home and clean it up. That saves me a little bit of time not going all the way down to nothing but gold. So I'm going to take a few more pans out of here and get some more gold. Then we're going to go do a little scouting on a spot that I wanted to get to last time, but I just couldn't. I think it has a lot of potential, and there's always water there year round. We can use a little bit of equipment. To be honest, today I was going to bring my gold cube down here and do a little recirculating, but I put my battery back in my truck, and the corner of the battery hit something on my tailgate or whatever and busted open. I got battery acid all over my truck. So that's out of the question here today. So let me get a little bit more gold for the pail, and we're going to go check out a new spot. Back in a bit. All right, us and the boys here, we got rid of that spot there and all that stinky water. We got a nice little pile of concentrates, and we did. We checked out a couple of different spots here, and those first couple didn't pan out at all. So we're walking through the woods here to a spot I saw on my Google Maps, and I just happened to see a little beaver action here. He's been busy. All these trees are chipped right off of here, and he's chewing on these trees here, and big ones, little ones, all over the place. Water's right down in there, but we're gonna walk around this big deadfall because my spot through the woods is that way. Back in a bit. Holy cows, I think we're getting close to where we want to get down in there. Boy, and that beaver is busy. Look at that. He's just going crazy. Somewhere there's a darn good-sized dam forming. I think I might see it up there a little ways. Well, we'll go take a little look. Back in a bit. Well, we made our way up past, here's the spot right there where I wanted to go, and I noticed how deep the water was there. That was never underwater before. Well, maybe in spring, but that told me that the dam couldn't be too far away downstream here, downstream here a little bit, making it so deep. And sure enough, we just walked down here a little bit, and there's the dam. That's all one big fresh beaver dam right there. And guess what else? There's the beaver. Somebody trapped them. See that little board right there? That's beaver trap. Right there's the line coming right on up here. There's the pole. Somebody trapped that darn beaver. I'm guessing somebody didn't care for the beaver doing this to their body of water or whatever. So that's what happens, I guess. Sorry, little beaver. We're gonna try to find some gold on the downside of this here, where it's not so darn deep. I might even take some of this out of here, just to get some of the water out of the spot I really want to go to. But maybe we can find ourselves a nugget in here or something. Back in a bit. Well, Val wants to take that beaver dam apart right there. A, because it's fun, and why not? But I said, hold on just a minute. Let me take advantage of the low water right here. Look at all these awesome deposits right here. And just smashing up against this bank, I bet you, these tufts of grass, I bet you that stuff right there is full of gold. So I did a test pan from, this is a big inside bend right here coming around, and it's going over and through and all these tufts of grass. Mrs. Wizard standing on there. And it's a big long inside bend too, and it goes all the way around and then down around there. So I took a sample out of right there. You can kind of see the little depression, And I really did a quick pan back. And there's a decent amount of black sand in there, but there's gold. That's what we're after right here. Look at that great looking piece. There's a bunch of little pieces in there. It's like those there. And they're kind of scattered out and about here. But that big one there, that's right off the first top 8 inches right there. So I'm going to take a couple more in here. I'm going to take a couple from in there. And I'm going to determine, you know, my best area right in here. And then I'm just going to start absolutely speed panning. I'm going to fill that container up with material again. That's how you get her done. Look at these guys. They're getting her done all right. Back in a bit. All right, so we're still here. I've been finding decent gold up there, and you know, there's a couple spots I didn't get any, but for the most part, we're getting gold in all our pans. However, I decided to check around just a little bit because, you know, why not? Test. So I noticed when I walked downstream here just a little bit, the rocks went from round river rocks that are all up in there to this sedimentary flat looking layer here. And they are movable. They're most of them are about 4 or 5 inches thick. Some of them maybe 3, just like this here. See that? And they're fit together like they were going all the way across, and then they just kind of cracked and got destroyed in place here. You know, it's all the same stuff right here. So I went ahead and I flipped one of these big bad boys over, and I took a couple of shovels out from underneath it, and I got some really nice pieces of gold. So then I thought, well, let's try it again. So I went ahead and I saw this crevice right here. This one right here. Now, it may not be your typical crevice type hunting, because underneath that is going to be clay instead of another rock. Ooh, there's a big crab in there. Well, anyway, I picked that big rock off the top of here, and here's all the gravels that was underneath it, sitting on top of that next slab right there. Well, I want to get at the stuff inside of there. Look at all those crabs crawling out of there. That's just full of crabs. Yummy. Well, anyway, I don't care about them darn crabs none. I'm going to try to scrape a little bit of this off of there in my pan, and I'm going to pick this rock up, and I'm going to get what material is down inside of that crevice right there. Hopefully not any more crabs. Back in a bit. Good thing we're walking around in the fall here where you can see a little something. We might have stepped on this big old beehive here. That would not have been good. That's right about Rigby nose level. There ain't nothing in there now though. We're gonna go check a couple more spots on the way out of here, and we'll pick it up then. Back in a bit. Well, we didn't find anything else amazing down there, but we did make it back to the shop. Hey, Rig. That's right. And we've got all our Mrs. Wizard's rocks all drying out here so she could put a little shellac on them. And I got my concentrates here, and I got my fridge. That's right. So let's crack a brew, let those rocks dry, clean up this concentrate here, see what we got for gold. Back in a bit. All right, I think today I'm just gonna pan this stuff out. Usually I run it over my little cleanup sluice, but I don't have that much material here, and I like to pan once in a while, I guess. So we'll pan out a little bit. See if we got anything good. I know we do. Not a ton. I didn't get all that many concentrates today, but we'll see what we did get. I won't film the panning that whole bucket, but I will film panning this one. And this stuff isn't all the way down to black sand, so it's going to be relatively easy panning. Absolutely. Look at how quick that was already. A little bit of black sand left on the top, and I'm sure the bottom of that little container I brought home's a little bit blacker. This one took quite a bit off the top. And I am seeing some pretty decent little pieces in there. There's the nice one right there. Look at that bad boy. Get that up a little tighter. Yeah. I mean, here now it's starting to thin out good. Oop, I swished that all off of there. I have to redo this whole darn thing. Yeah, that couple little scoops there, there's probably 30 or so little pieces of gold flying around in there. I think my water is dirty too. But you get the picture, there's gold. Let me get all this cleaned up and we'll take a look at it. Back in a bit. And here's our gold under the macro lens. We didn't get any real big pieces today at all, but we sure got lots of little tiny pieces. Typically when I go there, I'm getting, some nicer pieces, but I didn't wind up getting any today. I mean, there's a couple of them that are a little bit bigger than the next ones, but here's a little real life shot of what we've got. Let me get my finger in there and then the camera will focus. There we go. Not too darn bad, I guess. You can't feel none of them, but it was fun anyways. Back in a bit. And that's going to wrap it up for today's episode of Flower Gold Wizards. Went out and found a little bit of gold, did a little bit of scouting, and I did find a couple of spots that had a lot of promise. I just didn't put them on camera. I think somebody might be following me around a little bit, if you know what I mean. So until the next episode, like, share, subscribe. Please do leave a comment. Check out my Patreon page in the description box below. Flower Gold Wizards out.